everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of the Spiritual Inspired Show. I am your host, Claudiu Murgan. For all the episodes, please visit spiritualinspired.ca or ours.network and our YouTube channel. My guest today was born in a magical place, Mexico, and his name is Hugo Muñoz. Hugo, thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
You are an author, you are an engineer, and you wrote about a very interesting subject. And I would like to start with that because this is a concept many of us struggle with. Don't ask, command. So you say that every time we ask instead of commanding, we abdicate our birthright as a child of the Creator. So can you please expand on that?
Of course. So everything started with me believing that we were created from one feeling, which is love. Love is definitely the glue of the universe. Without love, there's absolutely nothing. So I started thinking, well, if that's the glue of the universe, then God loved us so much that for sure He wanted to be sure that we are able to fulfill a life, an amazing life, not in every single aspect, like health, wealth, love, all of that. And so because of that, and if you think of absolutely everything, you will see that there's all the humanity, all humans, we have created something. We have that power, but we don't realize we have that power. We think it's just the mind, but where does that mind brought that power? I remember hearing you saying about the potato. I love that. The potato didn't go to the school, but they know how to grow. So that divine power that is out there in the universe is inside a small spark in every one of us and give us the divine right to command and not ask. As I said, I truly believe that the creator of everything gave us that so we can be here in this amazing planet surrounded by perfection. Because everywhere you look, there's only perfection. We humans, if we see our body, it's perfect. So many organs, so many everything inside of us, and everything works with perfection. So why we wouldn't have that right? It's something. And when I realized that, because as an engineer, I start analyzing everything. I said, there should be something more. Um, when I realized about that power, I said, I'm gonna start trying it in a conscious way because I know I already accomplished that in a not very conscious way. But I said, now I want to apply it to something more important, like health. And I started commanding first for my health. Said, I'm gonna start commanding for my perfect health. I deserve that. I have that right in me. And one of the things that I actually share is that when we were going back to Mexico, every time we were there after moving here to the US, we were buying medicines in case we would get sick of that, in case we get sick of this. And almost literally half of one of the luggages came back with all medicines. And of course, we always use them because we were commanding in a subconscious way to get sick. And we needed all those medicines. But when I realized that and I shared that with my family and said, we need to stop this because I truly believe that we have that divine right. So we're going to start commanding the perfect health. And after that, first we stopped buying medicines. It was like, we're not getting sick. But one of the beauties that I want to share is the other day, my wife said, oh, do you have something for the reflux? I said, sure, let me go to the medicine cabinet. And I went and I opened the medicine cabinet and I said, oh my God, when was the last time that I opened this cabinet? I'm not getting sick anymore. And when before, it was I don't know, once a month for sure, probably more. And I said, it works, it works. That divine particle works. So what happened when going back to your main question, but I wanted to explain this. So what happened when we start asking for it? When we're asking for that for things instead of knowing that we have the right, we are giving that power of that particle to something else. What? I don't know. It can be even, I don't know, a mushroom, in the street, because we're just saying we don't have the authority. When we ask for something, we simply say we don't have the authority. You make yourself tiny in the presence of everything else when it's the opposite. We are the children of God. We have that divine right. And I can make this a little bit longer because I love to say this, after I saw that in my own health, I said, how about if I start commanding in my daughters? I have two beautiful daughters. And when my oldest was born, she needed a mask and she has asthma and she has a lot of things that I didn't understand at that time. And of course, I wasn't conscious of what I'm telling today. And I said, I'm going to start commanding for her perfect health. The doctor said she needs to be under certain medicine for the rest of her life. And that was it. Nothing more complicated than that. But I didn't, I said, I cannot accept that. Why a human being that is loved by God needs to live like that? I said, no, no, that can be. So again, I told my wife and said, let's start commanding on her behalf for her perfect health. And we just start doing that. And every single, probably 2 or 3 weeks, I remember coming from the store, bringing the medicine, and just storing it there. And one day, I just came back, and my wife saw the medicine and said, "Why are you buying this?" I said, "Oh, for our daughter." I said, "She's not taking this anymore." And oh my God, you have no idea the happiness of that day to myself. Because one thing is me, well, you take care of yourself, you do stuff. But when you see that you can also apply that, in this case, and I need to clarify that I believe that the reason we as parents have control over that divine particle of our kids is because they haven't developed consciousness. So we are the ones in charge of that right now. And that's what I said. All that was my own analysis. I said, no, she cannot do that because even if I tell her, she's going to say like, okay, that sounds like something, but I just want to play. And that was it. The same happened to my youngest girl. She had fevers every 2 to 3 weeks, horrible fevers. Fevers that we usually ended in the hospital because it simply didn't come out. And the same, I said, well, if it worked with that, let's start commanding for those fevers to get away, for the perfect health in her body. Did the same, me and my wonderful wife, which I really appreciate because she supports me on everything in this thing that some people might think is crazy, but she just support me on this. And we started commanding for that. And then from 2 to 3 weeks, it started becoming 3 to 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. And the other day, literally like a week ago or so, I was just telling a friend this story. And my daughter was running around, when I was finishing the sentence, I looked at her and said, "Do you remember when was your last fever?" I said, "Have no idea." So it's amazing. We're like, wow. So I'm sure we do have that control. We have that authority. And you can see the difference. When you ask for it, it might happen. It depends on who are you giving your powers. But if you take responsibility and you compromise yourself and acknowledge that you have that that power was given to you, anything can happen. Anything. But there's only two restrictions. And I need to say this. Two restrictions to when you're commanding. Respect the free will of the other children of God and don't hurt them. That's the only two restrictions. that I believe the Creator put on us when He gave us that amazing power. Can you imagine this world if we only respect those two rules? Those two
Yeah,
rules.
there's pretty much the common law rules. Don't hurt anyone else and don't destroy anyone's property. And again, if, as you said, if you respect these two laws, everyone will be happier. We won't have conflicts. Lawyers will be gone. We'll really have a much happier life. And I think God is kind of challenging us to switch our mindset from asking to demanding, because I see this as a moment to moment identity shift, who I am, or could be a technique, what I do. And this changes our lives very, very fast. Dear friends, I would like to personally thank you for your support by watching Spiritual Inspired show, joining Oraver's network, and promoting us to the world. We try to bring fresh information and knowledge to those who are looking for a personal development, who want to watch um, those spiritual leaders and people who waken up to their full potential, telling about their experiences and their journeys. Please go on YouTube and join our channel. Is under my name, Claudiu Murgan, and also tell your friends about joining Auraverse network. We are here for you to enrich your spiritual journey. And until next time, love and gratitude.
Well, one of the things that I have learned is when you command, the universe is there to obey. So whatever you command, it will come immediately, instantly. So why things doesn't happen or they happen late, and late is in quotes. So there's two reasons. When you command, it immediately happens, and the only thing that can stop that command is you with an opposite thought. And that's what we're doing all the time. We said, oh, I command for this. And minutes after that, we're already thinking of the opposite. Oh, what if this happens? What if I don't get it? What if? And so what you're doing when you do that is you already canceled your positive thought, your nice command, that something nice that you wanted to happen to you. But worse is that you keep commanding the bad things and they will come because the universe instantly obeys. And then, of course, nothing good happens and only bad things happens because we are all polluted in our minds. And this world keeps polluting our minds so we cannot accomplish all those good things. So that is one reason that I saw that it's happening, and that's why we struggle to get what we command. And the second, and I know you love this, is we create chaos all around us all the time instead of harmony. Every time, and it's because of the society we live in. It's the common factor. When we create chaos, every time that we act in chaos or contribute to chaos or are in chaos, we build these walls around us and of bad energy. And those walls, they get thicker and thicker and thicker with every time we don't act with harmony. So the opposite, we're doing chaos. So when you command something and it's a good thing and you don't cancel that, it comes immediately to you, but it smashes into that gigantic wall. And it needs to find a way and it struggles to find a way to get to you because you created that gigantic thick wall around you. But every time you start acting with harmony, guess what? Those walls starting to become thinner and thinner and thinner. And then whatever you command happens more instantly.